So again, welcome to today's webinar, Sidelining Stress, Tips and Tools for Stress Relief. My name is Liz Stretch, and I am the program manager here at the Johns Hopkins Bayview campus. I am a health coach and have a background in both fitness and nutrition. Today, first we're going to start off just by taking a moment to answer the following question, and that is, how many of you have ever had someone tell you that they are stressed? Again, just take a moment to think about that. How many of you have ever thought that yourself or have been the one who has shared that with someone? I know I'm definitely guilty of that as well. Think about some of the things that may cause you stress. And there are many things that can cause stress. This could be work, family, the weather, traffic, money, and our own health can all be sources of stress. The one thing that all of these factors have in common is that they are typically out of our control. That lack of control over a situation can cause us to feel overwhelmed and often powerless. And this can lead to stress and can trigger the stress response in our bodies. So while we may not be able to control the sources of stress, we can control how we respond to stress. And that is simply done by learning how to handle stress in a more positive manner. We can better care for ourselves and promote our own well-being and happiness as well as others. In today's seminar, we are here to help support you as you come up with a plan for managing stress so you can achieve a productive and a fulfilling life. So, to start off with, I want you to focus on one stressor in your life that is having an impact on your well-being this week. So something that you are experiencing right now. And stressors, if anybody needs a reminder, these are things that simply cause us stress. Stressors fall into one of two categories, either internal or external stressors. Internal stressors can be thoughts and perceptions that we have. They come from inside your mind and can impact how you experience the world. External stressors develop from the outside, and they are things such as responsibilities and pressures that are brought on by other people or certain situations. So think back to that stressor that we have just identified and think about which type of stressor that is, either internal or external. So think about how that stressor is that you are experiencing impacts you. Is it changing how you think or how you feel? Possibly. Stress definitely has a physical expression or an impact. So to get an idea of the difference, think about a time that you were not stressed. So maybe that was on vacation or a really positive time in your life. Maybe you just finished a project or a really big goal that you were working towards. And now think about a time when you were stressed. Stress affects everyone in different ways. When the body is stressed, it undergoes the fight or flight response, which can lead us to have a variety of symptoms. We may notice that our heart rate increases and blood pressure increase when we have the need to fight that stressor. The body releases stored sugars and fats and proteins into the bloodstream. This gives us the energy to act at any moment. It can also increase our blood sugar levels. We may experience food cravings from increased levels of stress hormones in our blood. Our body wants us to have that energy in case we do need to take action. The body directs blood flow away from the digestive system, and that is considered unnecessary to help us fight or flee dangers. This may lead to some digestive issues. Your muscles may tense up so that you are ready to act, and this can lead to muscle pain over time. We might feel tired or fatigued. Our body is working overtime to handle those stressors and continue its normal functions. Stress may also decrease the length and the quality of our sleep. This can make us feel less recharged throughout the day. You may be more anxious, restless, irritable, or even sad more than usual. You may feel overwhelmed or lack of focus. So again, these are just some of those ways that stress can express itself. So think about any of those and notice if you maybe have any of those symptoms when you are stressed. Again, it could be different for everyone. So jumping into what stress is. Has anyone ever heard of the term eustress before? Eustress is a type of stress that can be good for us, in fact. Think of it as a stress in a little small dose. If you have a little bit of stress, that may help motivate you to meet a deadline or possibly complete a project. However, it's not so much that it's affecting your ability to think clearly. With eustress, our body actually uses more oxygen, our brain increases its activity as well as alertness. We get a boost of that adrenaline, a hormone that primes our body to be able to act. This can increase our energy, confidence, control, and performance. It also helps us to better cope with and adapt to new situations, whether that be a new project or even a new person that we're working with. Eustress helps our body and our brain function more effectively. But there is a fine line between eustress, remember that's the good kind of stress, and too much stress, where we start to feel those negative effects that we were discussing on the last slide. So stress that continues over time is called chronic stress. And chronic stress can impact how we think and feel. If it is not managed, we may be at a higher risk for other diseases. And that includes obesity, heart disease, fibromyalgia, depression, etc. The time to start managing stress is before these diseases develop, so trying to be proactive. Are you able to take care of yourself and your loved ones and perform your daily duties? If not, that could be a sign that it's time to make lifestyle changes. You can also seek outside help and support. We can handle and react to stress in more positive ways if we have a box of tools on hand. We may not always be able to use the same tools in every situation because they're always different. And that's why it may be helpful having a variety of tools. So soon we'll move on into discussing the tips of how we can build strong stress relief toolbox. But first, let's think about a stressful situation that has affected us lately. And again, we could revisit that stressor that we had earlier today, or earlier in this presentation, I should say, something that is relevant maybe recently. And how would your life be different if your stress was managed more effectively? So maybe you might have more energy and you might be able to make a nutritious meal after work or play with your children because of that. Maybe you might be able to fall asleep easier and feel more refreshed afterwards. Perhaps you'll be able to think more clearly at work. You may have better work productivity and focus. So what would life look like with a stronger stress relief routine in place? What would be at the end of your journey to better manage stress? With a toolbox of strategies that you can turn to, stress relief is possible. Your vision of a life with less stress and more happiness is possible. So we're going to talk through a variety of some really good tips and tools that might be helpful. And again, remember that not every strategy is right for everyone. It will be very much individualized. We all have different schedules, preferences, and lives. But hopefully at least some of these we can take away and might serve as a starting point that will help you find a routine that works for you. So when you find yourself in a stressful situation, if you can, press pause. Give yourself a break to recharge. Remove yourself from the stress at hand. You'll come back more focused, which may allow you to respond in a better, more helpful way. It may be helpful to be prepared with a first aid kit of sorts of things that you can that can help you recharge and boost your happiness. You can even make this a physical kit that you can pull out if when you notice that you're starting to get stressed, or it can just be metaphorical. You can include things such as coloring pages, word searches, silly putty bubbles, stress relief balls. I know I keep one right here, etc. Things that will boost your well-being. So can you think of any other things that might be a good fit for your first aid kit, such as relaxing music, calling a friend, reading a book, etc. And if you can, take a moment and just jot down maybe one or two things that stood out to you that might appeal to you that you can press pause with. So some other tools for pressing pause here. Gratitude is the practice of being thankful. You recognize the good things in your life, and research has found that it can positively impact our own health, relationships, and increase our happiness. Ideas for practicing gratitude include journaling, possibly starting a gratitude jar where you can write one thing down and keep adding them to the jar, each time adding on, or practicing, if any of you have heard of the 3 good things activity. And in this activity for at least a week, you write down 3 things that went well for you at the end of every day and why they went well. Relaxation techniques such as yoga, deep breathing, meditation, etc. These can also be good tools. Yoga can help improve stress, reduce symptoms of anxiety, and improve our sleep issues. Meditation has been found to improve stress and mental health and can also reduce negative stress-related outcomes such as pain, anxiety, and depression. Taking deep breaths has been found to reduce muscle tension, blood pressure, and increase oxygen to the brain. We'll go over deep breathing techniques on the next slide. Being outside in nature can also help to boost relaxation. Try spending time outside or even doing one of these techniques outside for an added stress relief bonus. Acceptance. Accept that negative things happen and we may not be able to avoid them or change them. It's okay to accept your negative emotions. It's okay to feel frustrated or upset. Don't feel that you have to fix them. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, process them, and then allow them to fade away instead of holding on to them and harboring them. Reframing is another great way of pressing pause. Finding the positive and negative situation. So a good way to do this is to think or write down at least one silver lining of a bad situation. So for example, if we had a deadline that maybe moved up, and maybe we can see it as a chance or a challenge for us to use our skills and focus. Or if we missed the bus this morning, maybe we can use that as a chance to fit in some exercise by walking to work. And finally, stress relieving toys. The first aid toolkit that we talked about previously, those activities are considered our stress relieving toys. So bubbles, coloring pages, anything along those lines. So as we mentioned, deep breathing can be a really great activity. We're going to practice a method called 4-7-8 breathing technique. We have a lovely video to play for you. So go ahead and follow along. The video is about 5 minutes in length, and the first part will explain how to do the deep breathing, and then there will be an opportunity to practice breathing along with the video. So let me just get the video pulled up here. And hopefully you are all able to see the video and hear it.
This comes from yoga, and in yoga breathing, you're asked to keep your tongue in the yogic position, which is touching the tip of your tongue to the ridge of tissue just behind your upper front teeth, like that. So you just touch it lightly and keep it there. You can do this exercise in any position, standing, lying, sitting, but if you're seated, it's good to keep your back straight and your feet on the floor. Okay, so in this exercise, you're going to breathe in through your nose quietly, and you're going to blow air out forcefully through your mouth, like making a whoosh sound and pushing your lips out. I'm going to describe this to you, and then I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and then we'll do it together. So the exercise begins by letting all the air out through your mouth. Close your mouth, breathe in through your nose quietly to a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and then blow air out through your mouth to a count of 8. And then you'll do that for a total of 4 breath cycles, and that's it. It takes all of about 30 seconds. There's no excuse for not doing it. And this is a practice. It's not a one-time thing. It's something I'm going to tell you how to do it, but it's something you're going to want to practice. Okay, so watch me. I'll demonstrate it for you, and then after, it looks like this. That's all. It's a little hard for me to come back and talk to you after I do that, because this produces a very pleasant altered state of consciousness that I would rather stay in. You may not get that the first time you do it, but it's one of the rewards of practicing. Okay, so let's try this all together. I'm going to count. What limits you is how long you can hold your breath. So you have to get enough air in on the 4 to last you to the 7. I'm going to count for you at a moderate rate that you should find comfortable. Okay, so let all the air out through your mouth. Close your mouth in through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In. 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Close in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more in. 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Now just breathe normally and notice how you feel. Some of you may feel a little lightheaded after doing that. That's not the goal, and that will disappear with practice. Some of you may have some sense of internal relaxation. That will become very profound as you practice it. You have to do this at least twice a day, religiously. I do it in the morning when I get up before I do some sitting meditation. I do it at night when I get into bed and fall asleep. It will become a wonderful way to help you fall asleep if you get up in the middle of the night for any reason. Get back in bed, do this, and it'll help you go right to sleep. You can do it more often throughout the day, but never more than 4 breaths at one time. But you've got to do it a minimum of twice a day. After a month, if you're comfortable with it, increase to 8 breath cycles. And that's the absolute maximum. So then the practice would be 8 breath cycles twice a day. Again, you can do it more often. After 4 to 6 weeks, as you become familiar with this, start using it for things. If somebody cuts you off in traffic, somebody says something to you that pushes your button, before you react, do this. It's a wonderful way to help deal with cravings for whatever, cigarette, piece of candy. Before you act on the craving, do the breathing exercise. By the time you get back, it'll be gone. But the really interesting changes happen after about 4 to 6 weeks of doing this regularly. You will see wonderful changes in your body. This slows heart rate, it lowers blood indigestion. I've seen people who've had cold hands all their life who now have warm hands just as a result of doing this. That's a sign of reducing the fight or flight response in the body. I've seen people that have had chronic digestive problems that have disappeared just as a result of doing this. I've seen people who stopped atrial fibrillation from doing this breathing exercise. It is a fantastic thing.
Alrighty. So jumping back to our slide presentation here. What did you all think about that exercise? Were you able to participate? Is it helpful? Hopefully you all were able to enjoy that and get a little taste of it. So allowing yourself to rest. Give yourself enough time to sleep and rest. The APA conducted a 2013 Stress in America study. This study found that adults who slept fewer than 8 hours per night were more likely to feel irritable, overwhelmed, and have low energy. When we don't get enough sleep, our bodies cannot maintain the health of our brains and muscles as well. And this can affect our memory, judgment, and mood. Stress can also affect our sleep. Stress may make it hard for us to quiet our minds and to be able to fall asleep. This is why we must take time for sleep and practice other good stress relief techniques. As a reminder, adults should aim to get 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep per night, meaning that our sleep is sound with little to no interruption. Even outside of sleep, knowing when our bodies and minds need rest is vital. It means it's okay to take a break or a day off if it means that you'll come back refreshed. Some helpful tools to add to that toolbox that we are building. Sleep tracking apps and devices are designed to help you better understand your sleeping habits so that you can recognize patterns. Oftentimes, it gives you some sort of data that you can examine and reflect on. So, for example, do you feel tired if you sleep from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., but not when you sleep from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.? Same hours, but just different times. Use that data to adjust your cycle as needed. For exact data on sleep habits, you'll definitely need to participate in a medical sleep study. But if you don't want to try an app or device or don't have access to a sleep study, you can always keep a sleep journal and just reflect on the times that you feel most rested and maybe the times that you feel worst to notice any patterns. White noise machines or apps, again, this can be helpful if noises or the chatter in your mind sometimes makes it hard to fall asleep. I know I try to sleep with one as well. White noise is a constant neutral sound that often drowns out noises around you. This includes any sudden noises that could wake you up in the middle of the night. A fan is a nice low-cost object that you might be able to use for this. Circadian light. This works with your natural sleep-wake cycle, and it's good to try to avoid any bright light during the night. Be sure to get plenty of light in the morning to help your body know that it's time to start waking up and get moving. You might even consider getting a circadian light alarm clock. This is a clock that slowly wakes you up by exposing your room to increasing intensities of light, simulating the sun rising. You can choose to buy circadian light bulbs for your home as well. These adjust the tone of the light to become more stimulating in the morning, so higher blue content, and less stimulating in the evening, lower blue content. Other options could include blackout curtains that might help make your space dark so that your body knows it's time to get ready to sleep, or a sleep mask could be a lower cost alternative for that, and blue light blocking features. So blue light, as you may know, keeps us up at night, and we can purchase blue light blocking glasses to help avoid the strong blue light in the 2 to 3 hours leading up to when we head to bed. Or your smartphone or computer might also have blue light blocking features. You can look for those night shift options in your settings, or even purchase or download a program that will adjust the light for you. Social connection is a powerful need that we all have. We all need to feel like we belong and that we are close to others. This is a need that we have from the moment we are born and continues throughout adulthood. Natural selection has favored individuals who organize into groups and has the support of others. We all need some alone time, but we also need to make time to connect with others and maintain those relationships with our loved ones and create a support system. This means that it's going to be more than following someone on social media or sending someone a text, whether it's a phone call or a dinner. That in-person FaceTime and spending time with others can boost our mood. Loved ones can provide emotional support as you go through those life stressors. They can also offer help, assist with finding solutions, and serve as a source of accountability, or simply act as a sounding board for you to process and express your feelings. These connections also help us as we age. Research suggests that being socially connected may reduce risk of dementia, disability, and help us to live longer. So try to spend your time away from work with people who bring you joy. Spend time with people who push you to be kinder, more compassionate, and more loving. This joy will overflow into our work life, and you'll feel less anxious and more capable of handling stressful situations. Some tools for our social connection toolbox. Try to focus on building your social network. You can find people who share common interests, and you can search your local community for events near you, such as volunteer work, fitness classes is a really great one, lectures, or in certain clubs. Technology can help us to stay connected too, It allows us to stay in touch even when we are busy or far from each other, using more personal forms such as email, video chat, or text. Make plans to meet with a person when you can. Shared experiences can increase our closeness with others. They can make us feel more comfortable and less threatened. Try practicing a healthy habit together, such as hiking, cooking, attending a social event, or even meditating. Active listening is another really great way. Notice what others are saying and what their words truly mean. Try to pay attention to how they feel. Stay present and interested. Ask questions, help them feel understood. This will help you bring you closer. The next activity, we're going to share a quick experience here and try a really brief chair yoga. So we have just 2 exercises here, and if you're comfortable, feel free to follow along. If not, you can always save this in your back pocket for another time. So the first one we're going to do is the seated cat-cow. So move yourself a little bit forward on your chair so that you're towards the end of your chair, the edge of your chair. And just place your hands either on your thighs or on your armrest. Inhale as you arch your back up and look up towards the ceiling, trying to keep that spine in neutral and not overextending your neck. And then exhale as you contract and scoop out your belly button. You're looking down towards your lap here. Inhale and exhale. Scoop out that back, arching your back. Inhale and exhale. One more time here. Inhale, arching that back, looking up, keeping your head long, and exhale, rounding that back, feeling that stretch in between your shoulders. Coming to neutral spine, so again, that's just sitting up nice and straight. The next one is just a seated spinal twist. So again, we are towards the edge of our chair. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to twist to our right. So whichever is your right, it may be the opposite way that I twist, but twist to your right. Again, you can use your chair, the armrest, or the back of your chair, or even the edge of the chair to deepen that stretch here. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, come back to the center Let's twist to the left. Inhale. Exhale as you twist. Inhale, exhale, and come back to the center here. One more time on each side. Inhale, twist to the right. Now we always want to twist to the right first because this actually helps us with digestion, the way our digestive system is set up inside of our organs. When we twist to the right, that helps move things along. And exhale, twist to the left. And come back to neutral. So again, this is just another quick little activity that you could add to that toolbox. And again, just try to notice how you feel after or during those exercises. Maybe you felt a little bit silly. Maybe you feel lighter and looser. You know, we have that oxygen flowing now, relieved, etc. Keep this perspective in mind anytime that you meet someone that you initially might feel different from, and try to do something fun and maybe even different together. So next we are talking about how we can fuel well for when we are feeling stressed. So take a moment and think about if you have ever noticed feeling better after eating certain foods. Are there other foods that may make us feel kind of crappy? So while all food provides us with calories or energy, some foods can impact our bodies and minds differently than others. Food is fuel that powers our bodies, but some types of foods provide higher quality fuel than others. Our bodies function best when we get the right mix of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. We can better handle stress when we are well nourished. Focus on fueling with foods such as vegetables, fruits, proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats. Limit foods high in added sugars, saturated fats, and salt or sodium, since excess intake of those ingredients can increase the risk of chronic disease. Aim to include a mix of carbs, protein, and healthy fats into most meals and snacks. Carbs are our brain's preferred source of energy, and protein and fat can help us feel fuller longer. When we are stressed, it also helps to limit highly processed foods that are high in fat and sugar. We may seem to crave foods like these, but these cravings are actually a result of the stress hormone cortisol. Foods high in fat and sugar can release that feel-good hormone that the brain makes us feel better temporarily, but they are not the best choice for maintaining and managing stress in the long term, since they can make us feel sluggish, tired, and less capable of handling stress. Another item to just be aware of is caffeine. Caffeine can affect stress hormones and often increase our sense of stress. So some tools to add to our toolbox regarding fueling well. My Plate is a graphic that is based on dietary guidelines that recommends how to compose our plate to get an optimal balance of nutrients at each meal and snack. You can find more information and resources on the healthy eating at My Plate website, and that is just choosemyplate.gov. Healthy recipe websites. Make sure that the recipes that you are consuming or making support your goals. If you're trying to get more into a routine to cook at home, recipes and having a few good ones on hand can be really helpful. You can find many nutritious recipes online, cooking blogs, and accredited associations and sites that are operated and managed by registered dietitians. Additionally, the Healthy at Hopkins portal offers many nutrition resources, including a variety of great recipes. Practice mindful eating. Try waiting a few minutes before eating. Your craving that you may be experiencing could be a result of a stressful event, so always ask yourself, am I truly hungry? Try meal or grocery delivery services. If you don't have time to prepare meals, there are many meal delivery or grocery delivery services to consider. You can search online to see what companies deliver in your local area. In general, meal delivery services send pre-measured items for a recipe, while grocery delivery services send items that you would normally find at your local grocery store directly to your home. And lastly, reach out to a professional. A registered dietitian or a health coach could be a good resource for support and guidance as you make changes to your eating habits. They can also provide you with personalized advice and guidance. There are lots of actions that you can take to ensure that you nourish your body with the right fuel. So take a minute and think, what is one thing that you can change this week that would better fuel your body? This could be a change in what we eat. So for example, adding a serving of vegetables or fruit during breakfast and lunch, or even how we eat, such as turning the TV off when eating dinner. Be sure to keep it small and keep it realistic. And if you can, jot that thing down right now. Next one is exercise. We all know that exercise is good for our heart and muscles, and it's good for stress relief. However, if you're moving in ways that don't feel good to you or ways you don't enjoy, it sometimes feels like work and could be another stressor. That makes it hard to gain those benefits from exercise. We don't all like to move in the same way or even at the same time. There are many ways that you can be active, such as running, hiking, cycling, weightlifting, walking, yoga, team sports, etc. Some types of exercise that you feel are interesting and empowering and challenging in a good way is a great place to start. If you're new to exercise, try out different options to get an idea of what you enjoy and what seems fun. Once you know what you enjoy, include those ways of movement into your routine to feel the benefits. Learn when you like to be active as well. Examples could be before work, during lunch, or after work. And then plan your exercise during those times. For most American adults, the American Heart Association recommends 2 days of strength training and 150 minutes of moderate intensity cardio per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity cardio per week. Moderate intense activities include walking, brisk walking, light biking, and water aerobics. Vigorous intensity activities include running, fast biking, and swimming laps. Strength training includes weightlifting, body weight exercises, and yoga. Find ways to meet this goal that feel good to you. And as always, talk to your doctor before starting any new exercise routine. Start out slow to avoid injury and build confidence as you go. Some other tools to help you move more. The Move Your Way activity planner. This is just a website that helps you to plan your weekly workouts. It shows you how close your plan is to meeting the exercise recommendations. You can reference that URL right on the slide. There are also a variety of exercise trackers, videos, and apps out there. Many of them are free or even at-home workouts. This could be useful for those of you who may not have a budget or time to get to the gym. And also just to note that the Healthy at Hopkins portal also offers many exercise resources and trackers. The ACE Exercise Library gives you a step-by-step instruction on how to safely perform exercises. Again, that URL is on the slide if needed. And then finally, consulting a professional. Certified personal trainers and health coaches can help you create a personalized and realistic plan. So a quick recap of what we have covered today. We hope that you found that some of these tips and tools will be helpful when it comes to practicing positive, healthy stress management. Press pause when time allows, making sure that you're checking in to give yourself plenty of rest and recovery when needed. Connect with others. Be sure to fuel your body with good fuel and move more often. We all know that making changes isn't as easy as simply knowing what to do. New healthy behaviors aren't yet part of our everyday routine. This means they take more energy and thought than behaviors that have already been long-time habits. It's not uncommon to forget when we're busy. Incorporating cues that remind us to act can be helpful. Here are tips for helping you turn the new goal that you set into a lasting habit that comes naturally as part of your routine. So revisit one of those goals that you jotted down earlier, whether it's one thing that we can change what we're eating or how we're eating or when we are taking a break, and put your healthy habits into your planner or calendar. Stick with them like you would a meeting. Add your habits to a digital calendar and set up pop-up reminders, or you can use a smartphone alarm to remind you when it's time to act. At work, you can even pull up or download the tomato timer online. This is the tomato timer helps you to plan your mental breaks at work. Find someone to check in. Family members, friends, coworkers, spouses are all really great accountability partners. You can find someone that supports your habits and ask them to check in with you at specific times, as well as using visual reminders. Well-placed objects can serve as a cue to remind you to act. A sticky note reminding you to meditate before work can be placed on the bathroom mirror, or you can place a water bottle next to your computer monitor at work to remind you to drink more water. And that brings us to the end of today's presentation. So if you do have any questions, I did see some hands that were raised throughout the webinar here. Please feel free to jot them in the questions or the chat box there in the GoToWebinar menu. And we'll take a moment here to answer any questions. And if any of you are pressed for time, please feel free to hop off at any time you don't feel like you need to stay around for this extra few minutes here. We will go ahead and wrap things up here shortly.